How's it going, guys? It's your boy Fix It Daniel, and today we're going to be talking about my bike. We're going to be talking about what we're going to be doing while it's down for the winter, so we can have and what we're going to be fixing, so we can have it ready for the next riding season. So, without further ado, let me talk about what we're going to be getting. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have not seen my stuff, please go down, check it out, like and subscribe. Today, we're going to be talking about my bike, my beautiful 2009 Corsa 1400, and it is a beauty. My dream bike. I've always wanted. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about what we're going to be doing while it's down for the winter. I know I haven't done too many videos about it because I don't have a vlog camera that's good enough to mount on my chin. We're working on getting stuff like that. That's one of the things we need to do. We need to prepare for the next riding season and for the next year. So I'm trying to get myself ahead of the game of what I need to prepare myself for next year, what I need to do, and everything like that. So we're going to talk about what we're going to do on this bike. So let me show you the bike. Alrighty. If you guys have not seen my videos, please go check them out about this bike. I really love this bike. It is a super unique bike. Not too many people are talking about this bike anymore, but it's still popular. They still have them out on the road. They are basically a ZXR14, but in a touring bike form. Same motor as a ZXR14, just not the 200 horsepower ZXR14 motor. I think it's got the 150, 155 horsepower ZXR14. I guess you could probably tune it to make it the 200 horsepower, or just put a ZXR14 tuned 200 horsepower motor in there and you'd be done. But this is a definite unique bike. It is really cool. It is a little older. But it isn't changed that much from the originals. Like I said, the parts are the same. As for the ZXR14, the bike, the street bike. There's stuff that's a little bit different, but motor wise and some parts and stuff, they kind of do work together. But there are some parts on this thing that's different from the sport bike. So they're both considered sport bike touring, but I would consider this more touring than sport. I would call it sport touring, and some people will call the ZXR14 sport bike a sport touring bike as well. So it goes either way. Either way you cross it, they're still about the same, just they're a little different. This one's more set for like riding long distance, where the ZXR14 street bike is more of a more sportier street bike. But they kind of both go the same, because you can lift the handlebars on that sport bike to make it more of a touring style bike. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. It doesn't really matter which one you get. Whether you get the Corsa 14 or the ZXR 14, they're still pretty much the same bike, just different styling and everything. But I really truly like this bike. It's really a great bike. It's got little quirks, stuff that needs to be done on it. But it is really awesome. They're not too expensive. These are more cheaper to get than the ZXR 14. Because they don't make these anymore. And two, they just don't make these anymore. So, the ZXR 14s they still make. So, they're a little more expensive. But these, they don't make anymore, and you still get the same kind of fun and power of a ZXR 14. You probably can't even notice a difference. Like I said, the ZXR 14's got 200 horsepower motor, and this is a 150, 155 horsepower motor, which is not really that different, because this thing still flies like a rocket ship. This thing will still rev to the moon, just like a ZXR 14. You could probably tune this bike to get the 200 horsepower, so then you get the best of both worlds. So you get the ZXR 14 full power motor and on a cruising type of bike, which I would love to do that. But I just not really worried about it, because this is enough power and bike for me. But it's really cool bike. I really love it. It got the higher windshield, so you can, get the wind over you, which actually works extremely well. I added a windshield. The phone holder, I'm still working on that. I just don't want to put it down here in the center. I don't know, trying to figure a better place to get a phone mount. I still haven't figured it out. This is the best I could do for right now. Still working on trying to figure out the cruise control. I got one here, but I want to get a better one. That's one of the things I need to get. But mainly what we're going to be doing with this bike while it's down is what we need to be talking about. So what I need to do is I've never torn this bike apart yet. It's probably one of my nervous things to do. I'm not usually super like that. But this is my dream bike. This is the bike I've always wanted, and it's a little bit more complex than a scooter. This is big boy motorcycle territory. Like you're almost like taking apart a supercar or something like that. So I really want to be really meticulous about getting the stuff done on this thing. One of the things is we need to change the air filter. So when I bought this bike, it was as is. It sits. It ran. It drive. I knew that part. The only thing the guy told me that had been done to the bike is, he had put new tires on front and rear, and the head gasket for the valves had been done. So that was the only thing I knew for sure that had been done to the bike. He told me what happened to the bike, or, he had dropped it sitting in his driveway. He's sitting on a big, huge hill. And he was older. He had dropped it, which, as you see right here, this has gotten all scraped, here, and then right here got scraped, and then that got scraped. He did not ride it, dropped it, which is good. That's a good sign because the bike runs like a top. So he just dropped it on his driveway, and his driveway is really, really roughy of a driveway, and it's a hill too. So I'm sure he lost his balance, and then he just let it fall to the floor with him on it. But so one of the things that we need to do is some accessories, some parts. So one of the things we need to do is I need to get these covers done. So I found a place that sell these new pieces, the cap covers. So there's basically I got it zip tied holding it together, but there's usually a clip piece here, and then a cover that covers that. I found one for that. Both sides really cheap. I need to order that. That's one of the things I need to order. As far as accessories, there are a few other accessories I would like to get. I want to get another cushiony lifter thing for this. It's going to be like a little flat piece. Gives me more of a foot peg lift instead of just this little piece. Hopefully it'll help me shift it a little better. Having some intermitting shifting issues. Nothing wrong with the fluid because I checked the fluid. It's perfectly fine. It's right where it needs to be. So I'm not worried about that. I even topped it off, made sure it was good. These are all good. I just think that I'm worried that maybe the clutch might need to be replaced. But then every time I ride it, sometimes it works perfectly fine. So I think it's just me getting used to riding it. I've gotten pretty better at riding this bike, knowing where the gears are, getting it in the right shift modes. And when you get it in the right shift spots, it actually shifts like butter. So, and then if you miss it, then you kind of struggling to shift that next gear or something like that. So it's just that I think it's just the way it's riding. I don't know. That's one of the things I want to get checked is to make sure, because I don't remember it being like that on my Gixxer. Usually when you shift it, you shift it. There were maybe some times where we're trying to find neutral or something like that, but I never really had any problem shifting. When I shifted, it shift. So I don't know. I think it just could be maybe the links need to be adjusted to have that better shifting feel. That when you shift, it knows when you are trying to shift, it knows that you're shifting, and then that's the way it goes. I did see a performance slave cylinder online that I really, really would like to get. I know you probably can't. There you go. I want to get this replaced with a bigger slave cylinder. It's supposed to help me shift smoother and shift crisper. So that's one of the things I like to get. You got to bleed it and then put it all on there. That's one of the things I would like to get. I want to get the clutch probably looked at, maybe later, figure that out. If it needs to be replaced, then we'll get it replaced. I want to try and do it myself. It doesn't look too hard. I saw the video. As long as you do it right, you should be fine. It looks pretty simple. I mean, it's not hard, but it's a little difficult too. Make sure you're doing it right. So that's something I would like to try to tackle if I can. I would like to tackle the spark plugs. The spark plugs is right under here, going all the way across to the other side, where the air filter is right up here. So I'm trying to basically, I want to get all this fairing stuff off and get it exposed, so I can see how hard it is, because this is pretty difficult. It's one of the most difficult things I'm worried about is the spark plugs, because there's so much stuff up under here, and there's like a under this gas tank. There's a skeleton frame. There's a frame under the gas tank. So like with a Gixxer, you could just take it, unbolt it, lift up the gas tank, take the box off, and then boom, there's your air box and there's your spark plugs. Very simple, very easy. This is not. You have to take this off, that off. You have to get to 2 on this side and then 2 on the other side. It's not exactly an easy thing to do, but I'm looking forward to wanting to do it, because if I can get really good knowledge on it, I can do it myself. I've seen the videos a bunch of times, watching them over and over and over and over and over. And the only thing now, all I can see now doing is just taking it off and try to tackle it. Figure out how bad is it going to be. So that's one of the things I want to get. The air filter is not going to be too bad. You got to take this cover off, and then 2 bolts holding on the plate, pull it out, slide it in, get some stuff out of the way, and then you can put it in and then put it all back together. That's one of the things I need to get done. So for the next year, just trying to get everything all checked, fluid wise, and everything needs to be done. Like the rear diff here, the rear diff right here needs to be changed. One, because I don't know when it's been changed, and this is better for me and my peace of mind knowing that it's been changed. So I'm going to do it. This one's actually pretty simple. It's just the same thing as doing it in my 250. There's a drain plug right there. Drain it. There's a fill hole. You fill it till it comes dripping out of the top. Put it back on and you're done. So that's really simple to do. Everything looks good. Tires are good, so I don't have to worry about that. Rear brakes look good. I do have to take the seat cover off to look at the brake fluid in the rear to make sure that's good. I need to do that. Make sure it's clean. Make sure they're all clean. They're all pretty clean right now. This one's probably getting to that brownish, but the brakes are super clean, super clean. But this clutch fill fluid will get dirtier faster than the brakes, because you're pulling and pushing on the clutch, and obviously they're going to get dirtier faster. The main thing that needs to get done is these 2 struts need to be replaced. Why? Because this side here is actually leaking. So I don't know if I can get a light on here and show you, but yeah. So you see that gunkiness? That is leaking. And then you can even see a little bit of seepage coming out of the little piece there. That is actually leaking. It's not leaking on my brakes really good. I think it may have had been some point in time, but some of the debris and the spray is getting on there, because the brakes are kind of making a little zzz noise when I stop, but they stop. But I think some of the fluid might be getting on the brakes a little bit. But luckily, I haven't had any issues riding it. I've been riding it with it like that. I didn't even notice it until one of my serious rides I was riding. I noticed when I was just looking over the bike that this side was leaking. I did not know it. I did not know it when I bought it that it was leaking. I did not know it. I didn't do a full check over. I looked it over, but I didn't notice that. That's something that you wouldn't have noticed right away. I mean, I didn't notice it. Maybe somebody else was a little more professional probably would have noticed it if they'd done a little thorough look. But when I finally did my thorough look, looking at the tires, looking at the brakes and everything like that. And then when I finally looked on this side, I noticed that it was wet. Because when I came over on this side, it's not as bad, but you could see some of the grease and you can see the travel, but it's not leaking. Well, it's a little leaking, but it might be leaking from the top up here instead of the bottom. So they just need to be serviced, and that way we can have a good peace of mind knowing that the shocks seem fine. They go up and down, no problem, smooth. So they're still working. They're just leaking. So I like to get the whole seals done, get some new fluid in there. We might be low on fluid. That would be one of those things. So that's just one of the things we need to get checked out. And this one's going to take a little while because I already talked to a guy, a local shop, where he said that if I take these 2 off, instead of leaving it on the bike, it'll be cheaper. If I leave it on the bike, they got to take it all off the wheel and stuff like that, which that would be fine because I can just take it over there. But it's more money to have them take this off. And it's not too terrible to get these off. I got all the tools I need. I finally got the little tool thing to get this off and get that one off on the other side. We can get this whole entire thing off, get the fairing off. And then it gives me knowledge as knowing how to get this off if I ever have an issue. So it doesn't look too hard. There's some bolts holding it on there and there. There's some bolts holding it up under, and then there's some bolts holding it up top on the fork. So yeah, it doesn't look too terrible hard to do once you get the wheel out of the way and everything. We got to get this on a jack. I'll probably use my little 2-ton jack just to lift it up off of that one. It's sitting on the center stand, so I just need something to get under the center stand to get the front wheel off the ground, and then we should be good to go. So that's one of the major things that needs to be done. As of right now, this is priority number 1, to get the forks off, to get that done while we're down. One of the other things that I noticed was I was having a coolant leak. About right there. So you see where that little dark kind of spot where my light's kind of pointing to? I had a coolant leak a couple of times. So the first time it came down, I didn't know where it came from. I'm looking up under the bike. I see no wetness, no nothing. So I thought maybe I might have spilled some when I was maybe doing something. I don't know. But it was like right under the bike. It didn't make any sense. But then I wiped it and let it go. Took the bike out for a spin. And just a couple days later, it came back. I was like, what's going on? It wasn't there when I parked it. It wasn't there the next day or whatever. And then all of a sudden, there it is on the floor. I was like, what's going on? So I'm looking over everything. Nothing is wet. Nothing is giving anything except for right there. So you see that spot right there where it's kind of like wet? I didn't know where that came from. I was just like looking everywhere. The radiator's not leaking. Nothing's dripping wet. Nothing. But after doing some looking like seeing where the water pump was and everything, I found where it's leaking at possibly. It is leaking in the grate. So I don't know if you can see. So you see that right there? You see that lower radiator hose and you see that green? That is where it's leaking from. So apparently what it is doing is that when it's cooling down, I think it's expanding. I did some research online figuring it out, and a lot of people were having that same issue that sometimes if you are low on coolant or you have a leak or something like that, the bike's getting super hot and it's causing it to expand. And a lot of the fluid is leaking out of the places wherever the problem is. Well, my problem is pretty much right here. As you see it where it is, I think it just needs to be coupled really good. And you can see some crystals on top. So that is where it's leaking from. It may not be on there all the way and tight. So we're going to check that out. But since we're going to be taking it off and trying to figure it out anyway, and I got to let some of the fluid out just to figure out where it's going from, we're going to do a flush. I'm going to do a flush out of this whole entire system while we're in there. And one of the reasons why I want to do that flush is because, one, preventative maintenance. I'd already thought in my head to go ahead and do a coolant flush. It's just a preventative maintenance, but the fluid looked clean. It was green, looking at it through the reservoir, but the reservoir is low now. Before it was full, now it's low. So that leakingness has been coming out. I don't know if it's been coming out while I've been riding or it comes out after I ride when it's cooling down and expanding. I do not know. So, but I do know that is probably where the culprit is, but I won't really know until I get the both fairings off, because the fairing, the filling up is on this side, the right side of the motor. So I have to take that fairing off so I can even fill it up anyway. But the reservoir is right under here. You actually can, here, I'll see if I can show it to you. So the reservoir is this box right here. And if I put my light on it, you see it is low. So you see that F, that's full. You see that L, that's low. And right now it is below low. So I did not realize it. So now I need to fill up in the reservoir to get it back to full, so that way when it's running, it won't be too low. So that is one of the things that needs to be taken care of. So the bike's been running fine. It actually hasn't been running super hot, because it's cold outside. So once I start moving, it goes from 3 down to 1, and it gets hot pretty fast, pretty quick. Now that could be the reason why it does get a little bit hot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flush it. I'm gonna find a nice good sunny day. We're gonna pull it out. I'm gonna try and get this fairings off first, because that'll be the best thing to do. Get the fairings off, have it ready, because we're gonna have to let all the fluid out. Either we let all the fluid out, or we take that lower radiator hose off. I seen a video where a guy did. He took the lower radiator hose off, stuck the hose on it, clamped it, and then have the whole entire system just run water through the whole entire system and flush it until all the green's gone. That is one way to do that, which is probably the easier way. But then after we do that, after we get it all nice and flushed and cleared out, we're going to pour some more radiator fluid in it, but we're also going to be adding an additive. So we're going to be adding some wet into this bike. Now, wet, if you don't know what wet is basically an additive for radiator fluid. You can put it in your car, you can put it in your truck, you can put it with anything that has a radiator. What it does, it lowers the cooling temperature by 20 degrees. And the reason why I know that is because I didn't tell you guys, but I didn't have really much time to. But when I had my 250cc, the SYM project I was doing, I did take it out for rides when it was hot. And that was a liquid cooled bike, smaller motor. But it did get hot pretty quick because I was doing a lot of top end runs and all that stuff like that. And I wanted to make sure that it was going to run cool while we're in hot weather. So I did drain out a little bit of the fluid, and I added in some wet. Just adding just a little bit of wet to that system lowered the temperature dramatically. It was always going from like 1 bar up to 3 to 4 bars because it was super hot sitting at idle or sitting at a light or whatever. It never got to 4. It always stayed anywhere between 1 or 2 bars. And then it would go back down to 1 once we started moving and getting cool, because that one does have fans and everything. Once that fluid started going through and that wet started activating inside the system, man, it dramatically made the bike cooler. So we are going to be putting wet in this cooling system for the next year. So that way, when we're riding in hot temperature, because this bike does get hot, we will add some wet into the system. I don't think anybody's done that on their bikes if I've seen. So I'll do a video on that when I do the coolant flush and we do a filling, and I will show you the wet. You can get it at your local automotive store, or you can get it online if you need to get it online. And you can add the whole thing, some, all, whatever the requirements say. I think you can add the whole thing. So we'll probably add the whole thing, and that'll lower the temperature of the bike dramatically. But we got to make sure we get that seal taken care of so it doesn't leak anymore. So we'll probably try that. But we'll probably do that before we do the forks. We'll do the coolant flush so that way we can roll the bike out, get it flushed, roll it back in. If we have to take it for a spin around, we can take it for a spin around. Hopefully it doesn't get super cold to the point where I can't do it. If not, we'll just do it in the garage, or we'll figure out something. I'll ride it in the cold just to get it to go and, sacrifice to take a hit one for the team. But that's one of the things that we are going to be doing. So that's the second major thing that we need to take care of. 1 is the shocks and struts, getting those taken off and resealed, and 2, getting the coolant sealed up so it's not leaking anymore and running cooler for the next year. So that's one of the things that we'll be doing. So now let's move on to the next thing. So one of the next things that we will be doing while this is sitting in for the winter is right now it's pretty low on fuel. So what we will probably do is I'm going to get some fuel additive, some fuel stabilizer. So we'll get some fuel stabilizer and run that through. And one of the reasons why is because if we do not be able to do everything that we need to do because it's too cold or don't have time to do it or something comes up, I'll have some fuel stabilizer in it, and it'll keep the gas from gumming up the system. So I will be starting this bike since it's in the garage and right near the door. I'm going to push it back just closer to the door a little bit more. And what I'm going to do is I will be running this. So every once in a while, I'll open the door, let it run, let the temperature bar, get up to temp, and then turn it off, and then we'll be done. But I want to get the coolant done before we do that. But I could probably still start the bike, and everything else should be fine. There's coolant in it. It's just a little low, but there is coolant in it. I could run it to get the temp and then turn it off just so the circulation of the system's going. But that's what we're going to be doing, adding some fuel additive in it so that way we can protect it as well. And one of the other things too is I have a battery tender charger. The guy gave me a really nice, he gave me the battery tender. There's an actual cable right here for the charging the battery. We probably will be doing that if we feel like we're not getting enough time to start it. We'll at least put a battery tender on it and let it kind of charge maybe for like a week, take it off, and get the bike started running, but the bike runs fine, turns over like a top. I'm not really too worried about it, but it's just there if we need it. So yeah, there's a lot of few things that needs to be done accessory wise. Like I want to get another fin top to cover over my head so that way I get the full enclosed, so when I'm riding all the air is going over me. There's some few other things I'd like to get in the future, like a new headlights, because I tried cleaning them as best I could, but they do sell some more. And one of the final things I would love to do is get new fairings. So there is a site I found that can redo the fairings in a color, in the color that you want or whatever. I would love to get this thing wrapped, but it's probably wishful thinking. But I want to get it in a different kind of color that's never been on this bike to make it stand out. And I have an idea in my head, but I don't know how much it'll cost to get it done. And I don't know if there's a lot of places that do bike wraps. I mean, it wouldn't take very much to do because, it's pretty simple, small stuff, but the incisions and stuff might be tricky. But I don't think it would be very hard to do it on a bike. It actually would probably be easy to do it on a bike. But I don't know. I have a color in my head that I would love to see on this bike that I've always loved, but I'm not going to spoil it because I don't know if I'll ever do it. So maybe when that time arises itself and it ever comes around, I'll maybe leak the color of what I want to get. But I think it'll look really awesome on this bike. The color that I'm thinking in my head. I love this red. I would have loved the bike to be blue. If the bike was blue, I would have left it alone. I wouldn't even mess with it. But I like the red. The red's cool, but blue is my favorite color. And this would have been cool if this bike was in blue. I think it would stand out, make it look kind of cooler. But the color that I'm thinking in my head, if I ever got it wrapped, is a cool color as well. So that's just one of the things that's just down the road. The fairings I do like to get the fairings replaced just to make the bike look a lot more cleaner. As far as like with the damage that's on there, I would like to get that redone. So that way it looks a lot more nicer. And just try to get this bike running as great, looking as great as it does run great. Because this bike runs like a top. It runs really well. I've had no issues with it. The more I ride it, the more I get used to it, and I've gotten used to it pretty good now to the point where I'm comfortable riding it, shifting in traffic. Before I was a little nerve-wracking because this bike's super powerful and it's big bike, and it is agile once you get up to speed, so that's the cool part. You don't even notice the weight, but it is a awesome bike. But it does, you got to pay to play. So it's not an expensive bike. It's not a $90,000, $80,000 bike that's super complicated. This isn't as complicated as you think. It actually isn't. It actually really is pretty good as long as you take care of it and do the maintenance. I would say the only thing that's really difficult is probably doing the spark plugs. I would say the spark plugs, and if you had to get valve lashings done on this, that's probably the two things on this bike that's probably nerve-wracking, because it's just so tight in there, and you have to move everything, take some stuff off, put it back on, remember where you put it at, and remember how to get it back on. But once you get that mastered and you've done it enough times, I think it's not a big deal. But since for me, this is the first time me going and taking this stuff off, it's just a lot for me. So, a lot of learning curves. So I'm hoping that I can bring this to you guys. So if you guys decide to get one of these or you have one, I can help you. That seems to be the way it goes. A lot of people have these bikes, but don't know where to go look for some of the stuff. But there's tons of information of these bikes online, but Some of them are old videos. Some of them are not very good videos. Some of them don't explain a lot. And I know a lot of you guys like to have that explaining stuff done, and I get that. It is a little difficult because it is tight in there, so you have to give that person that credit of them trying to get what the angles and stuff. So that's one of the other things that I also wanted to mention. So one of the other things that I wanted to mention about that is I'm trying my best to get some good cameras. Some GoPros or something like GoPros I found online that'll work. That's giving out like 4K. Because one of the things I want to do is I want to do some bike vlogs on this, so I can take you guys along with me. So I want to get some cameras with mics, so that you can hear me talk when I'm riding. I want a camera on the bike, maybe looking at me or looking at the road, or a camera on my chin, looking at just like Fast Lane Gang. He has a GoPro mount right under his chin, and that's how he does most of his videos, unless he's off of it, and then you're looking at him. But when he's doing his bike vlog, he's got a camera chin right under him. So that's what I think I'm going to be doing, because I was going to use my phone, but I feel like the phone doesn't really work as great for that. I mean, it can, but a GoPro-like camera would be better for vlogs like that. Maybe a 360 camera hanging out the back would be good for vlogs like that. So I'm trying while I'm kind of down on my content and stuff that I'm trying to show you guys, because most of my stuff's fixed stuff. So a lot of my stuff is kind of starting to dwindle down the fixes. I still got something to do on the truck. I still got a few things to do on the car, but they're not ready to be done yet. So that's what's making it kind of downing time, and it gives me a chance to research on the bike and other things I need to get, so I can give you guys better content for the next year. So I'm starting my my downtime now. Some people wait till like December or whatever to kind of reassess themselves or what they need to do for the next year, what ideas to do for next year. I'm doing it now. This is November, and I'm doing it right now. Trying to figure out what I need to do to make myself get myself a little bit more better, figure out what content I need to show. I'm not like, I can't go to Copart and get another car or get another bike. This is all I have. So there are stuff that needs to be done on it, but I need to lay it out and prioritize what needs to be done, and try to spread it out evenly over all three vehicles. So I'm trying to research, recess, jot down what I need to have done on all three vehicles to kind of finish them all up, because there's some stuff that this maintenance, some of it's preventative maintenance, stuff is just stuff I want to add, like accessories, and sometimes they take over. Some take over priority than others. Some I don't really need, some I do need, something I want, some I don't need to have, and it's just I have to be patient. Riding vlogs with you guys. If you guys like to see some riding vlogs, let me know. Please let me know on the bottom. Yes, I'd like to see some riding vlogs on the bike, because I haven't done that. I like to do that. I didn't do that for the scooters very much. I did do it on my 50cc scooter. It was a little more easier for some odd reason. But getting it on the bike is kind of difficult, because there's a lot more speed and factors in mind that I have to keep an eye on, where the 50cc was not very fast. So it was very easy to keep a track if I lost my camera or it dropped, or if I needed to stop real quick, I could stop. Where this bike, I can't do that. I got to pay attention. This bike is super fast, super agile, and they stop really quick and they take off really fast. So I need to be thinking of my ride instead of worrying about what I dropped. And I don't want to be trying to fumble something while I'm on this bike, because I could wreck. And I don't want to do that. So I want to make sure everything's nice and secure, located in the right spot, and then just enjoy the ride, and then bring you guys along with me. So I was hoping to take you guys on a last minute ride, because I was hoping to ride the bike today. I was really hoping to take one more ride out before I brought it back in, but I'm worried about the coolant. And I mean, I could take the fairing off and try to refill it in the filler box, and then that should be fine. But I was hoping to take it out for one more ride while it's getting cold, because it's getting colder now. The cold weather is actually starting to stick around a lot longer now. So that's letting me know that it's actually the summer is actually was letting go. There'll be some occasional times where it will get warm, and then it'll get back to being cold. But the cold is starting to stay. It's raining right now, so the temperature's going down way down now, and that's only going to keep going. So it's been raining for a couple of days, and temperature's gotten pretty cold. So I was going to take it out today. I was hoping to take it out for one last ride, and you know, try to see if I could do some chest mount vlogs, but it's not going to probably happen today because it's supposed to be rain. It's supposed to stop raining by the afternoon time, but there's no guarantee, and I don't like riding my bikes in the rain. I just don't, unless I get caught in it. That's a different story. But if it's potentially raining out and the roads are wet, I do not like taking them out. That is a cause for some really bad, slipperage, oil in the road. You can't hit a corner. You can't lean as much. And if you do, or if you give it too much throttle and you spin out, that's it. You're done. So I'd rather wait till it's nice and dry and then take it out. But I may have one more chance to take it out, but it may not be on this video. I'll probably just get it out real quick, take it for a nice good ride, bring it in, and start tearing it apart. Or just have to just bite it and realize I can't take it out and start working on it, because I really want to get that coolant flushed. It's a really simple job. It doesn't take very much to do. I can take the fairings off so I can assess if it's just loose. If it's just loose, that's great. If it's just loose, we'll take it off and fill it up and we'll be done. But if it's, I can see the crystals on there, and I think it should be flushed. And who knows when it's been flushed, if it has been flushed, and it might be a good idea to go ahead and get it flushed. So that's one of the things we're going to be doing. I got to get the wet. I got to get some other stuff. So I'm really not even ready right now to do it. I got to get some more coolant. I got some up top. That should be enough, but I need to get more just in case it needs more. So there's a lot of things I need to get ready. So I'm not ready for it today to do it anyway. So that's why I wanted to take it out for one more ride and then be done. But we will see how that goes. But I am trying to reassess, like I was saying. So forgive me if I'm not putting out a whole lot of videos. There are some stuff that does need to be done, like on the truck. The transmission fluid needs to be changed. The transmission fluid has been done in the Pontiac, so check that video out if you guys haven't. It's a really good lengthy video. I know it's probably long, but some people wanted it long, some people wanted it short. But I did my best to do every single detail on that. So if you have that particular car, please go check that video out, because I tried my best to do all the details, showing you everything that was going through on that transmission. And I think it came out pretty well. So please check it out. Let me know in the comments. But guys, thank you so much for watching. That's pretty much it. It's a pretty short video. I didn't have really much to show today, but I just wanted to explain to you guys what's going on with this bike, because I know you've seen it in the background, but I know you maybe like, wait, how come you haven't done any more videos on it? Just because I've just been riding it, trying to get used to it, and everything. So I really enjoy this bike. I really love this bike, and I wanted to stay around for a lot longer. So we need to do a lot of stuff to get it going. The cars need to be done. The truck needs to be done. So there's a lot more stuff coming for 2025. But right now we are just reassessing, getting prioritized, making myself a little bit more better with doing video content, editing, stuff like that. So while I have some downtime, that's what I've been doing and researching. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate all you guys' love and support. Please go and check out my stuff. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends. Let me guys know what you think of the videos. I do appreciate every single one of you, whether they're good comments or bad comments. I know you're just trying to help. I really do appreciate it. But, sometimes things just happen. You got to give a person credit where credit's due. And sometimes I can't show everything. I can't cater to everybody's issue of I can't see this, I can't see that. You just have to understand that we are doing the best that we can with the videos that we got, and we try to elevate as best as we can with it. So just be patient, and just thank you guys so much for all the love and support. With all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a good and blessed day, and I'm going to see you guys on the next fix. Until then, peace.